Okay, there we go. Okay, we're good.
All right. So this is the Greg and Donny News Show, and we have a guest, Shari Sebastiao. Did I do that right? Sebastiao. I'm the worst person on names.
It's not the best. I mean, it's not the easiest name.
That's okay, but it's a cool name because you don't see that every day.
It's true.
You know, in fact, I met you we did Bands in the Blackwater concert, and I think you spent a couple minutes trying to help me, you know, with this. But it's Portuguese, isn't it?
It is.
There's a whole history there.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So we can go back over that. We're going to talk about a bunch of things. So Shari's running for City Council in Milton, and Donny, you should introduce yourself again. I'm sure too.
I'm Donny, and when I was 9 years old, she was my school bus driver.
There
Very
we go.
Small world.
You're entering a new dimension of school bus and sound, of city councils and strange things happening. There we go. I'll do my Rod Serling. Did you ever watch the Twilight Zone?
What's that?
Did you watch it?
Oh
Yeah. Yeah.
Of course.
Okay. I wonder if that skipped
Love it.
generations. Yeah. Actually, it was before my time. So it came. I think it was like a '50s show originally, '50s maybe '60s.
Yeah, my age group loves it.
That's really cool. It's now that we should do a show on that too. You know, don't mind us, Shari. We're just kind of chatting. We do this a lot. But just the shows. Feel free just to leap in the conversation.
Well, I was just gonna say, you know, like if I was your bus driver, what are you like 18, 19?
I am 19.
That's about right.
So there you go.
10 years I drove in this county.
Did you have any wise words of wisdom for your students when you were taking them to school or anything like that?
Sit down, be quiet. Pretty
That sounds
much.
good.
I mean,
Personal favorite of mine was when the lights are on, no talking.
That's
Okay.
That's a good one.
Yeah, and you have the no smoking light? I'm kidding. Yeah, kids, yeah.
That was on airplane, not on buses.
Oh, that's true, yeah, but unless you're flying to school, you'd be a school bus pilot. Wouldn't it be cool to have a school bus pilot?
It would be.
Wouldn't it though?
Yeah. You're going to fly to school now. I'll be back, you know.
Sure, make it a lot easier. We can get there a lot faster.
A lot faster.
No more complaints about roads.
Yeah, but you have to wait 3 hours before you can get on, before you go through, you know, TSA and things like that. It'd be like the terminal school
But
administration.
again, there would still be complaints. Somebody would complain. There
Yeah.
would still be a complaint.
Well, I want to get back to that because I think this would be a fascinating topic. But what I want to talk to Donny about before I can totally forget the subject is TV shows that jump generations. Star Trek's the biggest one.
Oh, yeah.
I remember when it first came out.
I'm a big Trekkie myself.
Exactly. Okay, so that's my point. Twilight Zone has jumped generations. Some of the other shows have as well. And it's something we should do.
Star Wars.
Star Wars?
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's more movie stuff, though. I still think the original ones were better.
Right.
You know.
The new ones are good, too.
I'll tell you, Donny, there's one of the most fascinating times I think in history was when the first Star Wars came out. Now here's the thing too. As far as education goes, you know, I wonder how much, you know, we have to talk about that too, how movies kind of played into that. But I want to go back to we digress, I think, enough. School bus adventures. That actually must be incredible training for just life in general, for watching out for people, for being responsible.
No, I think a little bit of everything.
Okay.
Honestly, it's good because, again, you get to kind of teach children how to have structure, you know, how to, you know, you've got to stay seated, or you got to, things are run this way or run that way, you know, and there's consequences, you know.
Yeah. Did you have to discipline the kids?
We need discipline, but you get to write referrals.
Okay.
I mean,
All right.
it doesn't necessarily mean that the school's got to handle it, but, you know, you still write the referrals. Most of the time, they're pretty good.
Did you ever talk to parents like a teacher would if there was a problem? Okay.
She had to
Yeah,
talk
I mean,
to mine
really.
many a time. For my little brother, I was good.
I was going to say, you know, usually the kids that remember me as a bus driver are usually ones that were in trouble. So he remembers probably because of
You don't have any Donny story? Oh, come on. I want to hear about Donny when he was 9.
My little brother was the absolute hellraiser on the bus.
Oh, really?
And I'd just be like, come on, behave yourself. I used to
You're-
be a good kid.
Were you a good kid?
I was.
Okay.
Used to be. Not
So
anymore.
like good cop, bad cop, you were the good one? Oh, that's fine. Okay. So I never rode a school bus.
But it also helped
yeah.
too, like when you have brothers and sisters that are on the buses, and then you've got your new up-and-coming children.
Mhm.
When those up-and-coming children come in, they know, they like tell them, they're like, you don't want to be bad on this bus, because this bus driver, she's like strict.
Yeah.
Or,
So
they
you were
kind of
Ms. Sebastiao? Is that how you were, or how did you do it?
Miss Shari.
Miss Shari, okay. That makes,
Yeah, Miss Sebastiao, like for kids. Is
For especially young kids, yeah, things like that.
Yeah.
I do a quick audio check here. Can you hear Shari okay? Cause
I can. Feel free, any one of you, to speak up.
If you want me to
fine.
yell, just, you know,
No,
tell
no.
me.
yeah, I don't think you have, but
I have that, you know. People always say that I'm very loud.
okay. Well, here you can be a little louder, especially if you get excited on top.
Absolutely.
Okay. Donny, do you have a question?
Yeah, might as well start off with this one. First of all, what is it that drew you to run for city council?
Honestly, again, you know, I think going back to like being a bus driver, you kind of like want structure. You want to see things go a certain way. in the town, you see, like, I've seen a lot of bickering and the bickering back and forth, and it's kind of like on a school bus, you know? You're like, you see all these people, and they're in this one room together, and you want to see people actually listen to one another. So you see the bickering back and forth, and I think, well, you know, why don't, like, I get involved? I mean, I've been here for 18 years. My husband retired here 18 years ago, and we were stationed here even before that. We were here for like 4 years, and we really liked it so much that we were like, oh, let's retire here.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. But I mean, again, it's one of those things, you just, you want structure in your city. You want people, you know, to kind of come together and work together, just like you want your kids on your school bus to come together and behave together.
The parallels between working with school kids and politicians is hysterical.
I mean, honestly,
I'm trying to avoid it, but I can't get away
really
from that. It's really funny.
It really can be like class clowns versus, you know, you get your well-behaved children, then you've got your not so well-behaved children.
So are you saying the city council is similar to a classroom with similar characters?
Could be like a bus full of kids.
Okay.
You're enclosed in a room.
Yeah.
You know.
Which is interesting that adults, you know, given power and responsibility, a lot of times will get to be like kids. So that's kind of an interesting analogy.
Exactly.
Yeah. I want to follow up on what Donny was saying a little bit here, especially on the bickering. Where are the problems? Where do things bog down?
I feel like that I feel like most of the city council seems to work together pretty good, but then you still have that, you know, just like on a bus, you still have those few that want to.
And what do they want to do as opposed to what the more of the majority seems to want to do? Where do the issues break down?
You know that I don't know where the issues break down, but I do know that when you see certain things come together, like I've been really, before I started to run, I really wasn't paying as much attention as I am now.
Okay.
So I've watched gone back and watched a lot of archive videos. And
videos of what exactly?
Of the city council meetings.
The meetings themselves, okay.
Right. So I've gone back and I've looked at some of them, and you can see, you know, where some of the council members will, you know, they vote on stuff, and you see where some of them are like, kind of like in a group together, they pretty much agree about, you know, the way they want the city to go. But then you see others that don't, and then they vote against things, and you think, why would they really vote negative against something like that benefits the city?
Sometimes it's hard to understand someone else's vote sometimes. Yeah.
That leads to a question I asked our guest last week. I hear a lot of people say we have a corruption problem in the city. Do you think that's an issue?
I don't believe there's a corruption issue. I mean, but I do believe that the city could move forward better if people weren't bickering so much. If people would sit and listen more instead of arguing more, maybe they could get across what they want to do.
All right. That's the second time you asked that question on corruption. Do you have any particular issues or evidence of people, or
have
that
you
can,
heard something that maybe I
disclose?
haven't?
I've never seen anyone give specific examples, but I'm always seeing people, the city council is so corrupt, there's so much corruption going on in Milton, and I always want to know, okay, what is it you're talking about?
Yeah.
Well, we should find that out. You know, in fact, if anybody has evidence of corruption on the Milton City Council, we can talk about that. If you want to be a guest and present things, especially as we have candidates running right now, you could probably get a response to us. You know, if you see something on a video, and so don't be shy about communicating with us. You know, and that goes for the Greg and Donny News Show YouTube channel and our Facebook page. Same thing. And again, Shari's running for Milton City Council, so now's the time, you know, to put those questions up. In fact, check the comments afterwards.
I mean, that's the thing. I want people to come to me. That's the thing. Like when I said on my flyer that I've got posted, it literally says...
Let's hold this up here. Put it right here. There we go.
Thanks.
Okay, yeah.
But it literally says, I want people to be able to come to me and talk to me and, you know, tell me what is it about Milton that you love? What is it about Milton that you don't love?
Okay.
What is it that I can do to help you, the citizens of the city of Milton? You know, that's my thing. I mean, I want to be there for you.
Okay.
I want to be there for the military here, the first responders.
You mentioned that before. What can the city do as far as military and first responders?
Well, I mean, honestly, I think the city it seems to me, I mean, that the city's very open to our military and our first responders.
Okay. Well, I mean, with
But
the
I
first
mean-
responders, there's a budget for them. You know, I mean, we have police, we have fire, we
Right.
have EMTs. You know, that's there. If
I
you
mean, I
if you,
even
su-
noticed
you
that we
support
have
them
little stops, like little places where they hang out until they are needed and stuff that are closer in the city.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
I think that's pretty cool. That
So, are businesses have places where people like cafe things are hanging out, or are these sort of specific
they actually,
office or what is
yeah,
it?
I mean, I think that like down just in town, right near the dry cleaners on Stewart Street, there's
Okay.
a little building back in there where they pull their ambulance in and. They,
Oh, okay.
I
Ah.
don't think
That's-
you
I didn't
ever
know about
noticed
that.
Oh yeah, I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah, there's a little building right there where they kind of sit there in case they are needed,
Right.
so
Yeah.
that they don't have to come from like Avalon or whatever. So
That
I
makes
mean,
sense.
that's good.
Yeah,
So it makes sense.
it's like community policing where you have people,
Right.
you know, closer
like
to the action.
substations.
Yeah, I was just curious how a first responder could be supported more than budget, facilities, things that are just general, and what the city council could do. Does the budget for police, fire, things like that come from the city council, or is it more of a county thing?
I don't know. I think honestly, there's a lot of things that I don't know. I mean, again, I've never done this before. I've never
Yeah,
been
and you don't have to have
so
like
I
it's
have
not
no
about you don't have to have all
don't
the
exactly
answers. Yeah.
know what the answers are, but it's one of
Okay.
those things like I tell people all the time. I may not know that answer to the question. Like if you ask me something, I may not know that answer, but I want to be that person that will go and find out for you. I cannot stand it. It's one of the worst things for somebody to say to me, "Hey, do you know blah blah blah?" And then they'll be like, "I don't know," and they kind of just look at you like you're crazy, and I'm like, okay, can you say like, I don't know, and let me go out there and find out for you?
Yeah.
Or,
I'd have much more respect for someone
I'd rather,
that
I'd-
said,
yeah.
"I'm going to find out. I don't know everything," because nobody knows everything.
Yeah,
I
mean,
especially for my questions,
Yeah.
which are all over the place.
and again, like I said, I've never done this before.
Yeah.
I mean,
So there's no political experience you have, no
none
legislative.
at all. I mean,
no?
I own a small business.
You want to tell what
You
kind?
want to plug it?
Yeah.
Hey, what
We
do
like
you
shameless plugs.
We
Go
do.
ahead.
I open Second Fold Men's Clothing and Shoes in Pea Ridge, actually. And actually, I'm in the process of trying to move into Milton, so.
Okay.
Oh, that's your business?
That's mine.
Oh, I see that all the time.
Thanks.
Wow.
Okay, where is it again? One more time.
It's in the Pea Ridge Market between Milton and Pace.
And it's called
Second Fold Men's Clothing and Shoes.
Second Full. I have to go.
We love small businesses.
We love small business. We do the best we can to promote that.
Oh, yeah.
Now, would you be in the historic district if you opened up a new business, or would it be just
I
outside
actually
it, or
would
what?
be across from Milton High School.
Okay.
So, I mean, still kind of
I know where you are.
area.
Yeah.
You
There's a
know-
couple. Yeah. Go. Okay. I'm sorry.
Didn't mean to interrupt you, but that is
That's
something that I hear a lot about, is that people are worried that it seems like all the jobs, all the businesses are going to Pea Ridge, and Milton's being ignored. So is that
That's interesting.
something that if elected you'd want to fix, and if so, how
I would
you?
definitely, honestly, and that is one of the things too. I want to see more small businesses
Mm-hmm.
come here. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, small businesses, we really can't do well unless we have these big companies that come in, blah, blah, blah. Well, you know what? It's a small town. We love our small town. We love the history. Why not bring the small businesses? Why not let the people that live here bring in their businesses, start businesses, help those businesses, bring that revenue here instead of somewhere else.
Well, I don't see why you can't have both, because I see.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. You can do both.
A big business will also have a lot of small businesses associated with it. I can't think of an example here in town, but like if a car manufacturer also has
Well,
a
again,
huge
they have to
secondary
have
market and dealers. Yeah, go ahead.
You have a car dealership, like say you have a car dealership, they have shirts that they have to wear. Why
Okay.
can't a small business, again, like a smaller business person can make up your shirts
Yep.
just as easily as a big company can.
That makes sense.
And why go ship them out to like Vistaprint or somebody when you can do it right here locally?
That makes sense. We need business cards, by the way,
We
too.
do.
So if you know a place that
I do, actually.
All right.
well, that was easy. So we have the best guests. They know everything.
We do.
We just kind of find out. Yeah, because we need Greg and Donny News Show. Because I keep meeting people that I want to get on the show, and I meet people everywhere. I mean, just like when I was doing the WBY show, I meet guests just going through life. Just because it's an occupational hazard. I talk to everybody.
Again, when you start a business, that's one of
Yeah.
those things. Like when I started my business 5 years ago,
Uh-huh.
I had nobody to say to me, this is how you do it. I basically had to do it on my own. So now, every time I meet somebody and they're starting a business, I do everything I can to try and help that business.
Do you have
Whether it means tax information or just small business questions, anything that I can help people with, that's...
Which leads me to a thought, on a smaller scale, the government has a small business administration where they have loans and things like that. Could there be an equivalent of like a small business officer or person or something within the Milton City Council or a designated council person like you who would emphasize, small business help? Would that be something to work on?
Well, yeah, and absolutely. I mean, there would, the fact that, like I said, me doing everything I can, like, if there was someone who actually would say, like, look, okay, so you need to do this as a small business person, or you need to have this as a small business person. Those are the things, things, like I said, with my taxes, even setting up something as easy as what you're going to use for a credit card company,
Okay.
or how that goes. Those things, nobody tells you how to do all that stuff. Nobody tells you what license.
There's no guide online. There's no YouTube.
There's no, how
You
to
should
start
make
a
one.
business.
Yeah, there must.
So-
I mean, everything else is on there.
But I mean, I live and learned. I mean,
Yeah.
I've been in business for 5 years, but
Okay.
have I got there? I got there by
Did you do it with any government help in any way?
no funding.
Okay.
Wow.
No.
So now, are there ways to help small businesses other than I guess funding is mostly we're talking tax breaks, or what's the best way for Milton City Council to help small businesses?
Well, I'm not, and again, these are questions that I'm not exactly sure about, but
Well, make up something.
but
We do
but
all the
there,
time.
but again, I mean, I know that I have listened to some of the other council members, and they have talked about, how that they can give them breaks. There can be breaks on maybe their fees or whatever to move their businesses here. So, and hopefully I'll find out some of that, because again, I'm still trying to work as to move my business here as well.
Yeah.
It's like I tell people, I want to lead by example.
Okay.
So if I have a business that's not in Milton City limits, I live in Milton City limits, so I would as much rather have my business in Milton.
This would be a second store, right? Or would you move the whole store?
Actually, and that is a toss, because it's really kind of one of those things. You have to make a decision. Do I want to do both?
Okay.
Or do I want to, but I really would rather be full-heartedly.
I just think we should make a show from the store. What do you think?
We should.
We do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We're gonna try that sometime. We'll pull up a couple benches and get our cameras going, and because we believe in small business too. Donny, you got a question?
Yes, let me ask you kind of a hypothetical. So I see you're pro moving forward, pro business, all that. But we have a lot of, and I almost hate to call them out, but we have a lot of particularly older people in the area, some of whom are currently on the council, who want to move back because they're scared that if the area grows, we'll turn into another New Orleans. Do you see yourself going up against them?
Again,
It's a good question.
there's a group that wants it to stay the way it is. And then there's older people that don't. I ran into one this morning, as a matter of fact. Me and my husband were having breakfast, and as I was leaving, she's like, "Hey, I have one of your signs in my yard." And she was an older lady. I would say, honestly, she was probably in her late 70s, early 80s. And she was like, she goes, "It's good to see, younger people, working on the city, trying to make things move forward." But then you still have that group. Again, like I said, I talked to a gentleman not too long ago that, there's a council member right now that her father built his house. And he's like, "No, we just, I don't understand why the city has to get bigger. Why can't we just keep it the way it is? People can just, if they want all those things in their city, then they can go to Gulf Breeze or they can go to Pensacola. Why do they need to make our city grow?" But what they don't understand is, your city is going to die.
Right.
It will die if you do not move ahead. You have to go, like technology. You see people riding on their bikes now with their telephones. They're driving down this road on a telephone on their bike.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
That's dumb.
and
Probably shouldn't be doing that.
I mean, honestly though, if you think about it, like I remember no cell phones. I remember when they first came out and they were bricks, like.
Oh yeah,
This.
yeah. In fact, the
So-
big antenna. But you raise an interesting point. It would be like I compare this to a business that say doesn't want to put computers on the desks
will
of their
die.
workers.
You
You
will
can't
die.
do that
Right.
City
because
will
everybody
die.
else is using computers. And Milton, in the same way, it seems to me, you can wish for it to be a static, non-moving thing, but it's going to change one way or the other.
So you either go with it or fall behind.
or you either direct it, or it does what it morphs on its own like an amoeba. You know, so that's the thing I see. So you can direct the change or not. And I understand this, and that. I think you've really summed up what is the attitude. You've got a group that doesn't want anything to change at all. That wants, you know, every building that exists, that's it, no more. And then you got folks that want to, and this is where I am, because we're a bias show. We take positions here. We're in fact, Donny and I both agree on this too. Is advancing and bringing in as many small business. You know, we don't want to, like I say, I don't want skyscrapers. I don't want that kind of craziness.
No,
but and that's not what we're talking about. But just small, independent businesses that are different, that work together, that have all kinds of unique products and services. I don't see how you can go wrong with that.
If you're working together, you can't.
Yeah.
And
I mean, you can grow, and things will get better.
Do you think there's any compromise with the old school anti-change crowd, or do you think it's really something where once you're in, you'll kind of have to go up against them?
I think you may have to go against them. I mean, it's hard, you know, again, I mean, I remember my grandmother, you know, she was old school, she wanted everything, you know, to stay kind of that way, you know, and again, like the gentleman I spoke with, he wants everything to stay, you know, the way it is. He doesn't want it to change. But unfortunately, again, times change, things change, and if we want our city to grow, and again, I love the city.
Right.
My husband and I, like I said, we retired here 18 years ago. We loved it so much when we came that we were like, oh, let's build our house here. So we built our house 18 years ago, and we've lived in that same house for 18 years here. And, you know, my husband still works here. You know, he works out at the base. And, you know, so, I mean, you've got to grow. The city's got to grow. We want the city to grow. We want to continue to see it keep moving forward the way it's moving.
Yeah.
And
well, it's going to change anyway because we're losing the courthouse, and a lot of businesses that are associated with that are going to go with it as well. So you're going to have even more open buildings. My problem is the amount of empty space that exists right now in downtown Milton.
but it's going to have to grow.
Right.
Okay.
And
So are you going to be advertising for business? Are you going to be in company journals? Are you guys
I
going to
feel
be
like
making
that we have to-
YouTubes, or what are you going to do?
I
No,
feel
serious.
like-
How are you going to attract the
I
business?
mean, really. I mean, again, the things that go on now, like in the town.
Okay.
You see, we had that bass tournament this past week,
Okay. Yeah.
and you see Little Pax boats. You know, they're advertising and stuff.
I want to try the little boat. We gotta have a boat.
You
We gotta do a boat
that
show.
is so
Can you? We gotta interrupt my production crew. Can we do a show on a boat?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what?
Oh, yeah.
We need to get the boat tour guy. You know the boat tour guy
Yeah.
on the river. Look, we need to do a show. And and anybody who happens to be by on that particular tour, they can join us on the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so we're gonna work on that.
Yes.
All right. We're gonna do a boat show. So
Doing a
look what
boat
you
show.
inspired.
See.
This would be great fun. But I love that these
It's
things are
that kind
here.
of things, those things.
Yeah.
These little
This is
things
exciting.
that are coming to the town, the little things that are happening here. Every time things like those happen, and now again with the technology,
Yeah.
the videos, the Facebooks, your YouTube.
Right.
You know,
We're
all,
using it.
exactly.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
all
yeah.
of these technologies
Okay.
can be posted on Facebook and on Instagram and Twitter and Snapchat, whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, all this technology, you know, again, a younger group of people. I mean, again.
Look at
I feel
him when you
like
say
I'm
that.
younger. A younger group. But I mean, the thing is, all this technology, you know, I didn't have it.
Yeah.
But all this technology, we post these things, people see it, you know, they're going, oh my gosh, Milton, you know, that looks like fun.
That's a happening
Yeah.
place.
Yeah, that's a happening place.
Do you have a
so
slogan,
The more,
like
so the
moving
more,
Milton forward, or do you got a better slogan, or do you
we definitely want Milton to move forward.
Milton moving forward? Okay, so I want to ask this.
Keep Milton moving forward.
There we go.
Because, you know, we have a long-standing rivalry with those jokers over in Pace, and they're beating us right now in terms of growth. We used to be the bigger
Yeah,
town. We used to
okay.
have more business,
You know
but
what?
they're growing in terms of population.
All right.
People are
They're
staying and starting
outgrowing,
businesses.
they're outgrowing their town.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're growing bigger.
There is such a thing as growing, but there's also outgrowing.
Right.
Yeah.
And we don't want to outgrow Milton. We want our town to stay. Still, like people say, we want to keep it small. Yes, we want to keep it small, but we also want to keep that history and keep it there. If you take away the history, so as I see all the time, you see people, you know, tearing this down and tearing that down when it comes to history. Well, you know
I
what
hate one of those
happens?
things.
What,
I hate losing
what
a historic
happens?
house, yeah.
You know,
It doesn't
our
really go.
children, my grandchildren.
Yeah.
You know what happens? You know, as they get older, that history's gone. So I don't want to see that happen here. I don't want people to come through here and just tear it all down, but I also want to see it continue to grow and see that people will come through here and go, oh man, that's a beautiful town, just like I did 18 years ago, and say, hey, I want to stay there.
Yeah. I think if you can convey that to the people, sort of like the no-growth crowd, that Pace, you know, is growing bigger, Milton is growing to
Bigger's
grow.
not always better.
Exactly. Milton is going to grow better.
Right.
And so the plan is that we keep the historic buildings, people adapt to those historic buildings. We don't tear down the courthouse and put a Walmart, there. Nothing against Walmart, but I'm just saying it wouldn't be appropriate.
Buildings,
yeah.
We can still use those buildings. I mean, I know I've seen some stuff where people were saying, well, some of the buildings got mold in them and this and that. Well, you know what? Mold's not permanent.
Yeah.
It can be cleaned up.
Yeah.
And again, it doesn't always take thousands of dollars to do
Right.
it. You just got to have somebody like myself that loves history, that wants to make it grow. It's just like the building that I'm looking at right now that I'm working with to move into.
Okay.
That building, I've had a couple people come into me and say, oh, paint the walls and da da da, and I'm like, whoa, back up a minute. Those walls are old, they're brick, they're beautiful.
Don't take them down.
Don't tear it up, don't paint it.
Yeah.
You can still make it beautiful without tearing it up.
Don't paint the brick.
Yeah, I'm like, don't paint the brick.
Yeah.
There's brick there. I mean, honestly, there's paint on the bricks already, and I literally am going to have to get in there and clean it out.
With
Get the brick-
sandblasting or however it works, or
yeah, whatever it takes. But
Yeah.
I don't want it.
But you don't want to take the brick out either.
I want it beautiful, and I want that history. I don't want to tear that building down. And so, let's work with what we have and make it better.
Yeah, I don't know if you necessarily want to do this, but it should be done where the factions should be known. If there's like a slate of city council people running, say we are the Milton Move Forward crowd. This is what we stand for. So people, when they vote, because I think there's a disconnect sometimes between what you're saying now. And anybody who's listening now, they can keep this video, they can refer to it, they can know where you stand on these issues. But for people that just have a name they see on a ballot, and unless they've done a little bit of research, they may not know that you are the person that favors what you say as far as having Milton grow better. And so I don't know if you want to form a coalition, or if you want to state it somewhere, or come back and talk to us, or just put it on the various Facebook pages. But if you can identify for the voters, who is, and the hard thing to do is it's going to look like you're accusing people of being growth and no growth. There's no way out of it. But we need to know.
It's like, again,
okay.
I don't want to point fingers at this person and that person and saying they don't want growth, and that this person wants growth, that person doesn't want growth.
It's not that simple.
But no, it's not.
Okay.
But you still have. I mean, there are quite a few people running right now that want to continue to see Milton go the way it's going and move forward.
Okay.
But I mean, you see my signs all over town.
Mm-hmm.
We're, honestly, you looking around town and you see, you'll see my signs and you'll see a bunch of other people's signs, and everywhere you look, my signs and all these.
Those
people
are just
together.
names.
Right.
I want to put. This is why I wanted you here, so that we can put some
Right.
meaning to your name.
Right.
So people, when they see your sign, they say, "Oh, Shari, I know what she stands for. I saw the video last
Right.
night." That kind of thing. That's why I want to do that. Donny, do you have another topic? Because there's several more things we need to talk about.
Oh, let's get to your next thing.
Okay, actually, I've got my thing here. I want to kind of let you go and come up with something, because we covered sort of Milton moving forward.
We did.
But I want to know what.
Affordable housing.
Okay, let's talk about affordable housing, because Milton's not only is Milton growing, but Santa Rosa County is growing too. So how do you interact with the county commissioners, for example? How do you see your role, the city council, county commission, for the good of Milton and for the good of Santa Rosa County? How's that all connect?
Well, and I haven't talked with a lot of the county commissioners,
Okay.
but I do again try to follow some of it, more so now than I have before.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I feel like they as well, want this area to grow, but there's a lot of things that have to be done.
Do you get into zoning at all? Is that a
I do
big
not
thing?
know anything about zoning.
Okay.
I don't really know that much about zoning, but again, these are things that I'm finding out little by little. These things
Yeah.
that I'm
Because the
I'm
historic.
poking my nose into a lot of places.
Because you've got a historic area. There was the alcohol overlay with the whole bar controversy. and
You
things
know,
like that.
Where
Wanna
are
talk
you
about-
on that?
Yeah.
That the alcohol thing, again, we're all adults. If we're gonna have bars, we're gonna have bars. The bars have been here. They were here even before alcohol was allowed. There
Yeah.
was already beer bars. Beer bars were
Oh, that's
here.
interesting.
They were, and it is. So there weren't issues with beer bars. Again, you're gonna have alcohol. You're gonna have restaurants. You know, we're all grown adults.
And
We have to
alcohol
make
doesn't
it-
mean bars necessarily. It could be
It
restaurants.
could be a
could
restaurant with bars. It could be a restaurant with wine. You know, it really.
Maybe like a
honestly,
wine tasting.
Yeah.
Can we ever have a winery?
That would
in
be awesome.
You know,
like
nice little wine tasting place.
yeah,
or,
we have breweries. Let's get a winery.
Yeah.
I'd also like to point out, I mean,
Another
if
idea.
someone wants to go get drunk, they're not just going to be like, oh man, they wouldn't let us have one in Milton. I'm staying home. They're going to go to the other town that has a bar
Exactly.
and give money to
But
them.
here's the and that's the thing too. That's the main thing for me. It's like it's not about the alcohol. It's about the revenue.
Right.
If we want to continue to bring revenue into our town and not have it go to Pace or Pensacola or Gulf Breeze or whatever, we need those small businesses with restaurants and little bars.
Milton should be known as a place where you can have a good time in the evening, and it's fun and it's safe, and there's places to go. And if you want a
You've
restaurant,
got Bands on the Blackwater. You've
yeah.
got, you know.
you got the Imogene, which is my favorite
love
place.
the Imogene.
You know,
Shout out to Kyle, doing great work.
Love
Kyle of the
that
Imogene, yeah. So go see the Imogene shows. Here's what's really special about that, and that's something. This is something that nobody else. Maybe Pensacola Little Theater, but even that's bigger. The Imogene is this incredible little theater. It only holds 350 people. So when you have a major artist, I saw B.J. Thomas there, and Leanne Womack there also. And when you have the audience is like 2 feet from the performer, you're actually like sitting around a living room together.
You're actually able to interact with
It's
them
an
more than.
incredible place, and so that's something unique to Milton. It's a 1912 theater, you know, and so that's something that should to be definitely highlighted as something that is just very special for Milton. You're not going to find that in another place. So you can emphasize the things that we do extremely well, build some more things there, and it would be, I think, just an amazing place.
And Brew Angels, man.
Brew
I
Angels,
don't
we
know
love
if
Brew
anybody's
Angels.
been to Brew Angels. Oh my God, that place is nice.
Yeah.
Me and my husband, we go down there every once in a while. They have a bookcase in there that has all kinds of games and stuff. Him and we love to play backgammon. Although, you know, I'm sure a lot of people don't like to see us play backgammon because we get ugly. Things,
You guys like
if
good?
things don't go right,
Oh.
the boards get flipped, you know.
See, I like the 4
It's
across
crazy.
tic-tac-toe. You know that little board there. You have like the red circles. Have you ever played 4 across?
I have.
You any good at it?
Back four.
Not really.
Oh, okay. Oh, come on. We got to try it.
We could.
We
But
did
it's
show
nice.
Rangers.
I mean, because you can literally, you can go in, you can
Yeah.
play a game,
Yeah.
you can have a beer, or you know, and hang out.
Yeah.
We actually
It's-
did one of our first episodes.
We did a show there, yeah. It's kind of like Cheers. You know, this is the town where you can walk down the street and many people will know who you are.
And again,
Right.
yeah, and
It's a
you'll run into
friendly little
somebody
place.
you know.
But if you're a tourist from out of town, you can still come here and find some unique stuff because it is so ridiculously friendly. It's kind of like, you know, like it's our own little Mayberry RFD with a little more excitement.
Right.
You know, which is kind of an interesting thing. Do you have another issue? Because I want to. We started housing. I want to get back to that. Anything
I
you
want to
wanna-
talk about housing.
Okay, go for it then. Why don't you present this
Well,
one?
you mentioned affordable housing. Yeah, can we get into kind of
The reason,
specifics
I
of
think
that?
the reason that I talk about affordable housing is I have a daughter with 2 children who's a single mother. And when you have a single parent with 2 children,
That's tough.
it's very tough. The housing market here, not so much. I mean, and let me get this straight, that she is a single mother. She has no food stamps, no public assistance.
Is she ineligible? I don't want to get too personal, but is she ineligible for those things or doesn't want them?
Well,
or-
she
and you don't have to go into too many
honestly,
details.
like
yeah.
recently she just lost her job, but even before that.
Oh, I know what that's like.
So, but I mean, even with her job,
Yeah.
okay, she didn't qualify for any public assistance because she made too much money.
Okay.
So, but yet she didn't make enough money to get. I mean, when you
Well, she's
have
got 2 kids.
when
Doesn't
you
that
have 2
change it?
children, when you have 2 children,
Okay.
especially her, one's a boy, one's a girl. They're 9 and 11, so they're kind of that they're at that age where really they should not be sharing a room.
Yeah.
So you're talking about
Especially boy and girl.
So
Yeah,
then
right,
you're
okay,
needing
yeah.
what? A 3-bedroom?
Right.
Okay, good luck finding a 3-bedroom under $1,000 a month.
So.
And that's the truth. You can't find a good place to live, a decent place to live with 3 people, a child, one adult raising 2 children. She doesn't, honestly, child support, non-existent.
Is that a family law court problem? Is that a legal problem?
I don't know about here, but I have never in my life ever heard that someone who had 2 children child support would be $130 something for 2 children.
Yeah, that sounds low.
That's like kind of crazy.
A month?
A month.
That's
Wow.
no. There's this.
So you're.
And I don't want to
talking-
get into the personal case
again,
of that,
but again,
that's something that needs.
Again, low money coming in, housing too expensive.
Yeah.
We used to have some apartments that were in the downtown. I know you remember down by the school. They used to have those apartments, and they tore. This was back when Guy Thompson was mayor. They tore all that down, and
Why?
it never exactly. It was tore down because, from what I was told, and don't quote me on it because I don't know. Again, I don't know this.
We already mentioned his names.
From what I heard, it was
I don't.
that there was crime.
Again,
Yeah.
that it was too much crime or whatever. But again, I used to take kids. I drove that school bus. Remember, I drove that school
Right.
bus.
Yeah, exactly.
I dropped a lot of children off there,
You were good at that.
and honestly, I never heard any of the parents complaining about the housing there or anything. And like I said, what I had heard was it was to be tore down. They were going to redo it. And then
They didn't redo it.
Never got redone.
Interesting.
So, but if you also look in the statistics in the city, you'll also see where we had I think 10,000 people that lived in the city, around 10,000.
Okay.
And then it dropped.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
it dropped.
Because no affordable housing?
Yeah, affordable housing. The
Well,
housing.
for someone like...
But now it's starting to build back up again, but still,
Yeah.
it's fly.
Well, that's all part of the charm here. But like for Donny, when he gets out of college,
Where are you going to live, dude?
Yeah, I've had a lot of trouble with that.
I mean, honestly, it really is around here, and that is one of those things. Like, I do know right now that there are some council members right now that are really on top of that and working on that, and that's one of those things that I really want to get involved with and find and help get something started.
And
Because
how do they
honestly-
do it? What are they going to do exactly?
Honestly, I don't know, but I
Okay.
know again
Yeah.
that they have been talking with. There are, I don't know how to describe it, but there are groups that handle the low income housing and stuff around here.
Okay. This
Okay.
is government contract.
Yeah, the government housing
But you don't want government housing.
But here's no. I mean,
But-
that's the
and
thing.
that's it.
I don't
So they
want.
gotta be a
Like I tell
private-
people, I don't
yeah.
want low. I don't. And people say, "Oh, affordable housing." I'm like, I don't want low housing. I want. Yeah, I don't want low income housing. I want affordable housing. There's a difference between low and affordable,
Yeah.
or diversified.
Yeah.
There's all different kinds of housings.
You need both. You need two things. You need jobs and you need housing. Because you really can't have one without the other.
And you can't do that without having businesses here,
Yeah.
bringing in more business.
Okay. So that sounds like a major priority. Do you, Mr. Producer, sir, should we take a break and then come back in a few minutes and then okay, let's do that now.
All right.
So this is gonna be part one. Shari Sebastiao is running for the Milton
That's
City
Shari,
Council.
but we'll be
We'll figure it out eventually. Maybe part two.
Our guest today is.
Shari Sebastiao.
There we go. Thank you. You've had more practice than I have. And again, running for Milton City Council. I'm terrible at names. I was terrible on my show. I'm terrible now. I don't even know why I do it. I think I should just say. And now our guest today is. One more time. Oh, catch a mouthful. Don't worry about that. Anyway, but we're gonna take a
Rubio
break
break.
here. A Rubio break. We'll explain that when we come back again. Greg and Donny News Show. I'm the conservative. He's the liberal, and the guest is in the middle in the hot seat. And we shall be right back with part two in just a little bit.